So, what's the real difference between a relationship that's just kind of there and one that's actually alive and thriving? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into today. We're breaking down the absolute essentials for building a connection that lasts right from the very beginning. We're starting with this quote because, wow, it just gets right to the point, doesn't it? It sets the stage for everything we're about to discuss. Because at the end of the day, a healthy relationship has to be built on integrity. Without that, as we're about to see, the whole thing just falls apart. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to start with you. Then we'll talk about how we connect with each other, build up the core pillars of a relationship, look at the give and take that keeps it going, and finally, wrap it all up with what it means to truly be on the same team. All right, first up, let's talk about the starting line. See, before you can build something amazing with someone else, you've got to know what your own blueprint looks like first. It all starts with awareness, knowing yourself and really knowing your partner. Think about it this way. How can you possibly find a puzzle piece that fits if you don't even know the shape of your own piece? And look, knowing yourself isn't selfish. It's the absolute first step for a healthy partnership. It's being able to say, hey, this is me, this is what I'm about, and then finding someone who can do the exact same thing. And yeah, this self-knowledge, it absolutely extends to physical intimacy. Knowing your partner is about way more than just their favorite movie. It's about understanding them on every single level. Now, for men, these are some common areas of sensitivity. But here's the real point. This is not a manual. Everyone is different. Real connection comes from exploring and, you guessed it, communicating. That's how you turn this general list into something deeply personal. And it's the exact same principle here for women. Again, this isn't some secret checklist you have to memorize. It's an invitation to learn, to ask, and to really pay attention. Being that attentive and that caring is one of the most powerful ways to build closeness and show you're truly invested in their happiness. Okay, so you've got that self-awareness down. Now what? How do you actually bridge that gap between you and your partner? Well, that brings us right to our second section, the language of connection. That bridge, it's built with communication. We usually think of communication as just talking, right? But it's so much more than that. It's a two-way street. It's not just about you sending a message out there. It's about making sure you both land on the same page with the same understanding. In a relationship, this is how you fix things, how you get through tough times, and really, how you build your own unique identity as a couple. So, how do we get better at it? Here are 6 things you can literally start doing today. And notice what's number 1. Listen well. And that means actually being quiet and hearing what your partner is saying, not just waiting for your turn to talk. And look at number 4. Be honest. Sounds so simple, but it's the absolute foundation for a real, authentic connection. Now that we've got awareness and communication in our toolkit, we can start building the actual structure of the relationship. And these are the 3 pillars that hold the entire thing up: respect, trust, and loyalty. If one of these is shaky, the whole thing can come crashing down. This is such a brilliant and important distinction to make. See, you can feel affection for someone. That's love. But respect is tied to admiration. You have to genuinely admire things about your partner, their character, their mind, how they treat people, to truly respect them. Love without that admiration is, well, it's just affection, and that often doesn't have staying power. This is just a hard truth. Once you lose respect for your partner, the whole dynamic changes. Every little thing they do can start to get on your nerves. Simple disagreements can blow up into huge fights. Your opinions just don't carry the same weight anymore. When respect goes, the foundation just crumbles. And loyalty, it's not a bonus feature, It's not some optional extra you can add on later. It's a non-negotiable part of the deal in a committed relationship. It's that promise that you are on the same team. You're in this together, sticking it out even when things get tough. It's putting your commitment into action. And of course, loyalty is what builds trust. And trust is that feeling of safety you get when you know deep down that you can count on your partner's integrity. It's knowing they've got your back. That feeling of safety is what lets you be totally vulnerable and completely yourself without being afraid. Okay, so our foundation is solid. We've got respect, trust, and loyalty. Now let's talk about the engine that keeps the relationship running and growing. This is the living, breathing part of the connection, the cycle of reciprocity. Reciprocity is literally the heartbeat of a healthy partnership. It's when both people make a conscious choice to shift their focus from what am I getting out of this to what can I give? It's this mutual exchange of energy, attention, and affection that makes both partners feel seen, valued, and happy. And this is a tough question, but we have to ask it. If that give and take is all one way, then it's not really reciprocation, is it? It's just one person using the other. A real partnership has to have a balance, where both people are actively pouring into the well-being of the other. And that reciprocation, that give and take, it fuels intimacy in all its different forms. Because intimacy is so much more than just physical. You can have intellectual intimacy, where you just love talking and debating ideas. Or recreational intimacy, where you share a hobby you both love. A really strong relationship doesn't just rely on one type of connection. It builds closeness in a bunch of different ways, which makes the bond so much stronger. And all of this brings us to our final and, honestly, most important section: unity. This is where everything else we've talked about, the self-knowledge, the communication, the respect, the reciprocation, all comes together to create a true unified team. This slide just lays it out so perfectly, doesn't it? This is what unity looks like in real life, day to day. It's not about keeping score. It's about seeing something that needs to be done and just doing it, working together to handle life. One person cooks, the other does the dishes. Simple, supportive. That's teamwork. And this leads to a huge mindset shift. Forget the whole idea of a 50-50 relationship. Seriously, that idea implies that you're only giving half of what you've got. A truly great partnership is two whole people, each giving 100% to the team. It's about total commitment from both of you. And for that 100% commitment to really work, you have to be, as they say, equally yoked. It's this powerful idea that you share the same fundamental beliefs and values. You're headed in the same direction. You want the same things out of life. You're not just in the same book, you're on the same page. So we'll end with this question because it really captures everything. A lasting, amazing connection isn't about two people trying to force their paths together. It's about two people agreeing on where they're going and then making the choice to walk that path together as a team. Because at the end of the day, that agreement, that is the common ground.